Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Today I'm going to be doing a wrap up of the books that I read in July. Enjoy! I read 9 books in July, which for me is quite a low number, but I did manage to finish Under the Dome by Stephen King, and this book's really chunky, so I'm glad I got to finally get that done. I've been trying to read it on and off since October, and it was good. It was worth it. I'm going to do a more in-depth review another day. Yes. So first of all, Under the Dome, obviously. I also managed to read 2 Agatha Christie's. I read Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile. Both of these were incredible. Both were unlike any Agatha Christie that I've ever read before. I read Death on the Nile first, and then I read Murder on the Orient Express. And they were both amazing. If you've never read anything by Agatha Christie, I would recommend starting with either one of these 2. I think they're really well done and a great starting point for her books. I also read a book called The Mummy, which is a point horror book. So it's a bit like Goosebumps. This was really cute and it was really funny. It wasn't scary, but that's because it's made for children and I'm an adult, but I needed like a quick, easy read. So this was perfect. And this is my first book that I read in July, and it just kick-started my month in a good way. I also read a book called Flesh and Blood, which I received in my advent calendar at Christmas. This was really good. I found it a bit slow to start with, and I couldn't really figure out what age it was aimed at. But as it got further on, it got a bit more gory, so I'd say it's probably more for like new adult, not young adult. Yeah, it was really good. It was gory. It wasn't particularly scary, but it did grip me all the way through, and I enjoyed it. It was an interesting read. I also read Withering Tights by Louise Renison. This is a spin-off series which is the main character is the cousin of Georgia Nicholson, the main character from the Angus Thompson Full Frontal Snogging series. And this one, I don't know if it's because I don't have the same nostalgia for it, but I just didn't find it as funny. It was still really good, but it didn't quite hit the mark. I think all of the Angus Thong series I rated 5 stars, I think apart from one, whereas this was a 4-star. Yeah, it was not as funny, but still enjoyable. Slightly less cringy as well, and slightly less mean. Georgia was a bit of a mean character, whereas Tallulah, the main character in this, is just a bit sweet. I read Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer, which is Twilight reimagined, so all the characters' genders are swapped over, and this was really good actually. I was a bit sceptical going in because I'm not ashamed to admit it, I really like Twilight, so I was wondering how different it was going to be, and I was pleased that it was actually different. The ending was completely different. I think this was similar to how Twilight was first written, because it was originally only meant to be a duology, and I think this book follows that basis. So yeah, the ending's completely different, so it's definitely worth a read if you like the Twilights. It's not just a direct copy and paste. Yeah, that a few of the characters were quite funny because their genders have been swapped, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. And finally, I read Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I'm so glad I finally read this. I've been trying to buy it for a while, and I got it in a HMV deal where it was like buy 2 books and one of them was £1. This was so good. It was so good, and there's more in the series which I didn't really realise at the time of buying it. I didn't know much about it other than I wanted to read some more vampire books but aimed at adults, and yeah, I absolutely loved this. I got through it so quickly. I'm excited to reread it, and I haven't even read the rest of the series yet, so yeah, I'm glad I finally got around to it. Anne Rice is a very good writer. brilliant. The 9th book I read was The Midwich Cuckoos, and that has just been made into a TV show, I believe on Sky, which is how I heard about it. I saw a trailer for the show and it was on Amazon for 99p or something crazy on the Kindle, so I decided to buy it. This was so good. I believe it was published in the 50s, so it is a bit dated, but it's still very creepy. I did find it quite funny actually. I was reading Under the Dome by Stephen King, which is about a town that gets trapped in a dome, and I was finding it a bit heavy, so I thought, well, I'll go for something different. So I picked up The Midwich Cuckoos without knowing anything about it other than creepy children, and the start of the book is a town being sealed off from the world, and I just thought it was so funny that of all the books I picked, I could pick a book that starts off with the same premise of Under the Dome when I was looking for something to have a break from that. That's just a very me thing to do. But it was a really, really good book. 5 stars. I think if you haven't read it, you should, especially if you're interested in watching the TV show. I haven't seen it. I probably will try and watch it having read the book. But yeah, it was very creepy. It gave me a lot of like Ray Bradbury vibes, like a writer from the past writing about the future. But yeah, it was good. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I also gained 2 books this month. It should have been 4. 3 of them are pre-orders that have been coming in, but Waterstones have really let me down and they've just not shipped the books. Who knows? But I did get The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, which I've been so excited about for months. So I'm looking forward to reading that as soon as I can. And I also received a book called The Watchers from my auntie, which I've never heard of, but it has this gorgeous pink sprayed edge, which is so lovely. And she said it was quite scary and creepy and spooky, so sounds like it would be my cup of tea. I also decided to get rid of 2 books. I have got rid of The Crow Road, or will be getting rid of The Crow Road. I don't think I'll ever read it again. It was weird. It's ticked a box. It's done. And the same with Outlander. Very problematic in hindsight, and I'm not sure I'll ever read it again. And I don't think I'm gonna miss it when I get rid of it. But yeah, that's it for July. It's been a pretty good reading month. I've tried to do my best at not buying books because it's my birthday in August and I know I'm going to be getting a lot of books then. So yeah, this bookshelf will need rearranging soon, hopefully, to fit more books in. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I read in July. Let me know what you think of them, if you agree or disagree with me. And I'll hopefully see you soon. Thank you. Bye.